Hi, I'm Griffin Kelly, and I haven't made a solo show about cats fucking yet.
That's a good hook.
That's it.
That's a keeper. We do need an intro. We had a really I ended up using the us goofing off of this
fun,
isn't that worked. I think if we have something of the same, maybe just this conversation.
Okay, this is the intro.
This is the intro right now.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So
Let's
start. So this is my name is Hayden Garrett, and
I'm Yannick Ingrid.
and this is Haven't Made It Yet.
Haven't made it yet.
Today we were talking with Griffin Kelly. She's doing a lot of work with different kind of acting on film, acting on stage. She was talking about some one-act stuff, and so I'm excited
Very much into strange alternative comedy stuff.
Yeah, a lot of comedy.
Yeah, very goofy soul, right up our alley.
And yeah, I'm excited to get this conversation going and see what she has to say.
To have made it to me, I think would be to create and star in my own show.
What kind of show would that, what would that look like?
That would definitely be some kind of dark comedy.
And you were just in a show that was comedy, right?
Yeah, I was in the Book of Queer on Discovery Plus that came out this June for Pride Month. It's basically like drunk history, but for gay.
Oh, okay. I thought it was narrative. Gotcha. How'd you get into that?
I got into that as like a self-submission through Actors Access. I don't know if you can hear my cat taking a shit like in the closet next to me.
I thought that was a sink running.
Good. It'll just, it's the subtext to what I'm saying here. But yeah, I auditioned through like a self-tape on Actors Access. I went through I think 3 rounds of auditions, and then a callback, and then a lot of emailing with the casting director to be like, you're on our yes list. And I'm like, I hope that is a good thing. I'll believe it when I have a contract. And then I got the contract. And I had 3 shoot days with I think 8 different characters and wigs and period costumes, and it was really fun.
Is it like what you imagine it to be, to starring in a thing?
Yeah, I definitely didn't star in it. It was an ensemble cast, so I got to play a bunch of characters and then a couple of key characters. It was what I expected, in the sense of I would leave set every day just so happy and excited and shocked that I would have to go back to sending emails the next day. It was kind of what I expected, in that I had a dressing room with my name on it. So I showed up and I was like, oh, I belong here. They've prepared for me. Anytime I'm on a job, it feels like, oh, this is a real career thing if they have hair and makeup. There's something about sitting in the makeup chair, having people just massage your face with these little brushes, where you're like, I'm living my dream right now.
I made it. I did it.
I'm one of the elite.
What is something that a non-actor, non-actress wouldn't expect in an everyday job?
I mean, off the top of my head, in the realm of makeup, the thing that was the most surprising to me was we'd be in between takes, and I know you see in, I don't know, mockumentary stuff or any narrative that has behind the scenes that in between takes they'll come and touch up your makeup, so that was kind of expected. But what I didn't expect was we would cut, and then the makeup person would come out with her bag and just apply chapstick to my lips. That felt like a whole new level of luxury. Where I was like, oh, I want for nothing. Or they'll bring you a bottle of water with a straw in it and hold it up to you. Like, I don't even have to take it.
As they get the palm tree and start fanning you.
Yeah. And then the flip side of that is the moment you're wrapped, nobody gives a shit about you.
Oh no.
You are suddenly in the way. Like, grab your shit, get off set. Like, you are so cared for and protected and pampered as long as you're needed on camera. Like, make sure you look perfect and pristine until the shot's over.
Yeah, that is something that we talked with Tim last week, and it's something that he brought up where some PAs, some ADs would kind of bring up of like using words like meat sacks or something like that towards an actor. And I never thought, like, to me, with watching movies and kind of inspiring to be in this world, I always thought that the actors were the utmost respected of the community. And it surprises me that sometimes that's not exactly true.
Yeah, I think that is the expectation. I don't know, looking at the industry. Once you're like on set, everything is so technical, and on every production I've been on, it's always like a hustle. Like, we gotta get in and get out. Even for like the bigger budget stuff. When you're not on camera, you're just in the way. The more jobs I work, the more I've started to kind of think of myself as a prop. Like, just an animated prop, basically. Because it doesn't matter what I'm doing off camera. I mean, obviously it matters how much you've prepared, but it's all about what they get in frame. Hitting your mark, making sure, like, knowing what angle you're at. It's all about how it looks and sounds. Everything else is kind of superfluous. So you're a prop. You're a set piece. You just move and talk.
Yeah, that must be kind of, I mean, I get that with working crew jobs too, but kind of humbling that you're just part of whatever it is we're making here, and that's all that matters. That's all you're being paid for, just to fit into, just a gear fitting into this thing, no matter what position you are. Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Yeah, it's humbling, but it's also like really grounding. It kind of takes the pressure off a little bit to get out of the mindset of this is all about me, which I think a lot of actors, especially at the beginning, kind of have is like, oh, this is my chance, I'm on camera now. And then it's like, stop thinking about yourself, like, think about the shot.
Right. Yeah. But like when people are always talking about, but this is also more of a background acting thing, but I want to get my close-up, like I want to get in the close-up and everything, but like it's not going to make the story, it doesn't fit into the story, like you just need to be that part right now.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, you want to ruin the shot. Okay.
We can get to that. Tell us a little bit about your kind of origin story of what kind of brought you into acting. Did you start out with the theater world, or was it always like wanting to pursue filming? Where'd you start from?
Yeah, I was always like a pretty quiet kid. So I remember like my friend, or not even my friend, my mom's girlfriend's kid, who I kind of grew up with. She was very loud and, I don't know, performative. So they were always like, oh, you're gonna be like a superstar, like celebrity actor, pop star. And then Griffin, you're gonna be a scientist. And so I had it in my brain for a long time that I would be a scientist, but I always really liked being the center of attention, but I didn't, I was like, oh yeah, I'm not the acting type. And then when I was 11, my best friend Hazel, who Yannick, I think you know.
I think I do, yeah.
Went to high school with her. But when we were 11, she went to this like performing arts summer camp, this like musical theater camp in Talent, Oregon, called the Camelot Theater. And she was like, you should do this with me. And I was like, okay. And I remember her being like, it's $500 for the summer, which is so cheap. And I was like, is that cheap? I don't know how money works. And then I told my parents about it thinking they would say no, because $500 sounds like all the riches in the world. And they were like, oh yeah, that's a great deal. that's a great thing for you to do this summer so we don't have to keep track of you. So go do that. And then I did it, and I got cast as a lead after the first week where they bring you in and they like have you do like there's acting, singing, and dancing, and you do those classes, and then at the end of the week you audition for the show. And then it becomes like in the mornings you take the classes, and then in the afternoons you rehearse, and then at the end of the show you put it up, or at the end of the summer you put up the show for all the parents and everything. And I got cast as one of the leads, and I loved it. I was like, this is the best I've ever felt. I just want to keep doing this. So then I got to middle school that year and started auditioning for the shows there, and was getting cast in those, and came back every summer to do that camp, and was like, okay, this is great. And then high school hit. I got really tall, really awkward, stopped getting cast in anything, and that was really hard. So I started writing because I was like, well, at least I can have something on stage to put my friends in, even though I like really wanted to be in them. But I still really liked the writing aspect, so I kept doing that and thought, okay, well, clearly this isn't for me. I'll do science because that's what I was pretty good at biology, and I was told as a child I'm going to be a scientist. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be a bio major in college. And then right before college started, I switched to film. Because I was like, I'm going to regret it if I don't do art. And my parents were very
exuberant,
thrilled. No, they were not. They were like, oh, yay, our daughter's doing art instead of science. We don't have to support her anymore. This is great. And I did film because I thought that was the smarter thing. I was like, I really want to just act, but I'm going to be smart and do film and like production and do all that stuff. And then I hated working production and am now just acting and writing, which is what I should have done all along.
So there was a time where you were like doing crew stuff, like filming stuff yourself?
Yeah. When I was in Seattle, I started PAing because I went to college in Seattle. I started PAing on like Microsoft gigs, and once I moved to LA, I was like, this is a great thing to do, and so I would PA for like World of Wonder, who does all like the really cool like Trixie Mattel stuff, but I never did any of that. I did a couple of like HBO documentary pilots that I don't think ever got picked up. And the final straw for me was we were in like the Malibu Hills. It was at this like beautiful resort. It was everyone was super nice. It was like, it was early mornings, but it wasn't that bad as far as, production gigs go. And at one point, we were all sitting down for lunch, me and the rest of the crew, and we all went around in a circle saying what our role was and how old we were. And I saw that everyone looked 10 years older than they said they were.
Oh, no.
And I was like, this is my last job. I'm not going to do this anymore. Clearly, it sucks the life out of you. No offense to the people who do it.
Oh, people love it. The people love getting their life.
It's a calling. It's
out.
worth it. But I'm like, I want to act. I need to preserve my face.
No, I definitely noticed that, because I did a similar kind of route of starting production in Portland, Oregon, and then just now coming to LA. And I did notice a lot of the people I was working with. First, I was always the youngest, by like 10 years old, younger than anybody I was working with.
So you thought.
Well, you thought
yeah,
it was by 10 years.
They're
a year older than
me. Yeah. But yeah, it does suck the life out of people. And I mean, they love what they do, so I'm not going to tell them no.
Yeah.
But it's not what I wanted.
Yeah, it's not something you fall into. It's a vocation.
I love the moment of realization that you just said, because I love hearing people's stories of like terrible set moments. That's hilarious.
It's such a vain moment for me. Like it was pure vanity.
I would love to hear, was that a lot of the reason why you left Seattle to LA, or was there other reasons to go to LA?
In my final year of college, as I was kind of thinking about what am I gonna do, I was planning on going to Chicago to do like Second City, get my, nose to the grindstone comedy training, and then go to New York. And then I did a 23andMe test and found my sperm donor father
Wow.
and a bunch of half siblings. We're at the time I was like the 20th to be found, but now we're at like 40. And wouldn't you know it, a bunch of them live in Los Angeles. And I was like, okay, well, I know a bunch of people there now, so maybe I'll go there. Even though I was always like, I'll never move to LA. I hate it there. It's so hot. It's disgusting. I'd rather go to New York. And then here I am.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that, of like meeting these, would they be considered half siblings, or?
Have you met them?
Yeah. Yeah, I've met them. I've met my sperm donor dad. He actually kind of got me my agent in a roundabout way.
Wow.
I lived with two of my half sisters for a while when I first moved down here. A bunch of them came to my last comedy show that I put up with my sketch team. I'm like connected with them now.
That's great that they have interest in hanging out, because I can imagine it going the other way too.
Yeah, I mean, not all of them. There are some who like pop up on 23andMe as like, oh, you have a sibling, and then they immediately disappear and never make contact, which I don't blame them. It's a very weird situation. And I remember thinking when it happened, I was like, oh my God, my life is different. My life is forever changed. Like, fundamentally, who I am as a person is different now that I have a father and all of these siblings. And now, that was in 2018, and now I'm like, I'm not fundamentally different. It's just people, and it's people you can choose to spend time with or not. But there's some where it's like, oh, we connect on a way that I feel like I haven't with other people. Like we can see that we're related, but overall, I don't think I am changed.
Do you feel like that? And I mean, you said they kind of look like you, obviously, but any similarities that you've found with them, like a weird cosmic similarity?
We all have the same under eye bags. We all look exhausted all the time, which I thought I had inherited them from my mom because she has them too, but turns out so does my father.
Those dominant genes coming through.
Yeah. A lot of them are very into birds, like ornithology as a casual
As you
hobby.
are as well.
Genetically
Yeah,
predisposition to like birds. Yeah.
everyone's pretty funny. They've all got a pretty good sense of humor.
I just think that's wild. I heard a story of another friend, actually kind of similar, but he realized that he was going to college with like 10 of them, and that they were all
10 of them?
yeah, like they were all just like I forgot how it happened exactly, but he pretty much realized that he had spent time around some of them without really knowing it.
Oh my God.
And he didn't even actually know that he had a sperm donor. That like it was like realization after realization. Like it was a wild ride.
Yeah, see, I knew my parents are lesbians, so there was no question for me. But
Okay.
yeah, there are quite a few who like didn't know until they did the DNA test.
Oh my.
And it was like, oh,
That's
life
a
is not
that's a
what I thought it
conversation.
was. Yeah. Well, it's funny you say they went to the same college. One of my sisters that I ended up living with went to the same college as me, and we had a sci-fi film class together, and like didn't know we were related.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
Small world.
truly.
It sounds like like you're wanting to do New York, Chicago for more of like a theater aspect of like live production. And was it because you were in LA that you found you wanted to do more film stuff? I notice on your Insta stories that you are still doing a lot of theater stuff. Where is your home in that, or is everything your home?
I kind of feel more like everything's my home. I don't know. Even when I was doing theater, I kind of never imagined myself as like on Broadway or anything. I always imagined doing film acting, or more specifically TV. TV is by far my favorite medium to consume. I just I my parents worked all the time, so I was raised by the TV and worshipped at its feet. Um, and so I always wanted to just be a part of it and be a part of the shows that I watched. And I just want to make TV ultimately, but I don't know. I just love acting in general too. So I was just saying today, I was like, I want to do a play again.
Do you feel like you want to be part of these shows growing up because you want to kind of have that thing where you want to be what you had for somebody else, or do you just have like just love for it just plainly?
I think it's more just a love for it. That's true for a lot of things. I don't know if you're familiar with the comedian Natalie Palamides. She's like a very insane, hilarious, successful clown comedian slash actor. When I first moved to LA, I saw one of her solo shows at the old Lyric Hyperion in Silver Lake, and it's called Laid. It's she's hatches from an egg and then grows up and gives birth to more eggs that she has to decide if she raises them or eats them. It's totally unhinged. At one point, she bites the head off bites the head off a fish that she's had stored under her dress the entire show.
Oh, no.
And I'd never seen anything like it. And the whole thing was just an experience from start to finish. And so I saw that and was like, I want to do this.
Yeah, that's inspiring.
That's just like an example of how I consume media, I think. If I love something, I want to be a part of it. So if I read a book I really like, I want to write a book. If I see a TikTok I think is really funny, I want to make a TikTok. It's very monkey see, monkey do, I think.
Let's talk about some of your inspirations from TV to. It sounds like this clown was super inspiring. But you as a kid, you said you watched a lot of television. What were some of the shows noteworthy that inspire you today?
Yeah, because I started with like cartoons. I watched a lot of cartoons. Although I think That's So Raven was a big one for me. I really liked her as a lead. And I liked the scenarios that were brought about in that show. It was a lot of costumes and her playing a lot of different characters. So there was like a lot of variety for her to do on screen. And I think I was really drawn to that because I love characters and I love variety and I love the thought of getting to play a role while also playing a bunch of different roles within that role. That always just seemed like the most fun to me. Like the prosthetics, the hats, the wigs and the voices. I loved all of that.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever been a part of as an actor?
The weirdest thing I've ever been a part of, I think, is a thing that I'm currently working on. Because I saw Natalie Palamides do that clown thing, and I was like, I want to do this. And then I proceeded to do nothing even similar to it for 3 years. And have been doing, like, sketch comedy and, like, live theatrical comedy with some zany characters, but all kind of contained within the acceptable, like, 3 to 6 minutes. And so I'm currently working on a solo show called Two Cats on a Date. This was born out of just doing a stupid bit with my girlfriend when we were locked in her room with COVID for 2 weeks and going crazy. And I just started doing an impression of these two cats fucking each other.
Oh no.
And it made us both laugh. And I was like, I wonder if there's something bigger in here. And then cut to a few months later, this past August, my sketch team put up a show and they were gracious enough to give me the 17 minutes I needed to perform the entire thing.
It's a 17-minute lovemaking session?
No, it wasn't just lovemaking.
There's some foreplay in there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Well, we first see the cats on their date, getting dinner together, and then the walk home, and then the lovemaking, and then, her husband comes home, and the violent fight that ensues.
Oh no.
And I was like so nervous to perform it because I'd only performed it in front of my sketch team, and even with them, I was so like embarrassed to be humping the air while meowing. So leading up to it, I was just I kept asking my director, who's my best friend, Andrew, who like edits and directs all my stuff, is this funny? Is this gonna be funny? Are they gonna like it? And he to his credit would be like, I don't know. I think it's funny, but you didn't move to the city to not go for it. And I was like, yeah, okay, you're right. And so I performed it at the end of our show, and people really responded well to it. Coming up to me after the show and being like, are you gonna do this again? Like, are you gonna make this into a longer show? Like, I would watch a full version of this. And I was like, I had not thought about that even for a moment, but yeah.
Oh, cool.
Feel like I found something here. So now my director and I are meeting every Thursday to expand it into a longer piece. 17 minutes is already a long time to watch one person play two cats. So we're trying to figure out how to play with the form of it to keep it like fluid and changing, and find ways to escalate it from the insanity it already becomes by the end. And I'm excited because I've seen a lot of like solo shows, but I've never made one. So I'm excited to get into like the rehearsal process and like figure out how do we like rent a theater space and have like work in progress shows and then get the audience reaction. We're kind of like figuring it out as we go.
I've never seen a solo show. I didn't know that was a thing, to be honest.
We should go sometime. There are a lot of really weird, cool shit happening in the like at the Elysian Theater, especially.
Yeah, I can't imagine it not being like the strangest thing ever, because even if you pull it off, it's still going to be like a Shane Dawson minus the like racism, I guess. Like, just like insanity.
It sounds wonderful. I mean, I love, it sounds a lot like pantomiming, where I get it a lot from, my aunt is deaf, and in American Sign Language, a lot of the time when you're expressing stories, if there's different people that you're saying in the story you're talking about, you're expressing their movements differently depending on who you're talking about in the story. And I've always kind of grown. It's very much a solo show in itself, and I've grown attracted towards this kind of medium of like one person doing it all. And it sounds like That's So Raven too is a lot of that same inspiration of just one person being a whole bunch of people at once, or cats, a whole bunch of cats at once.
Well, I haven't done a whole lot of physical comedy before. It's been like a part of stuff, but it's never been the main thing. And so it's really just like, it's a really good exercise in, I think, just acting in general, to try to embody these different people in this like short span of time, that I feel is helping me get better at it.
Yeah, I feel like physical comedy is so powerful. I went to a first Groundlings show recently, and my favorite, or like the person that got me laughing the most was the guy who was not even saying that much, but he was just embodying with his body. He was doing so much to building such a world, just the way he like hunched his shoulders and everything.
It's amazing how much you can do with just a look.
it sounds like you want to kind of branch out into a whole bunch of different forms of comedy. Uh, Talk about, I mean, you already kind of talked about what you're wanting to do right now, which is that one act, but what are some other things in the future you want to get into?
I mean, I'm working on I'm writing a pilot right now. I've written a couple in the past that were not very good. But I'm starting to feel good about this one, and I'm feeling good about this one, but I'm also just feeling more confident in my own abilities to write. So I'd love to get staffed on a show, and I've been in a writer's room once, as like a guest writer for the like YouTube channel Smosh.
Oh, cool.
And that was a lot of fun, both just like being around so many funny people but also just getting to be in a room, getting paid to give ideas.
Totally.
Felt really good.
How'd you get into that?
So one of my friends from UCB, he saw one of my TikToks. He works at Smosh now, and he saw one of my TikToks and was like, "She's funny. We should bring her in for one of our guest writer days." Which is funny because one of my friends had just told me, like, "I don't know why you're wasting your time with TikTok. Like, it's clearly not what you want to be doing." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. It's just kind of a nice way to, like, let out some comedy steam every once in a while." And then, boom, it got me a paid gig.
And I mean,
like, the next day.
Your TikTok is kind of doing really well, too. It's not like you're shooting into the void. Like, a lot of people are liking your stuff.
Yeah, that was very unexpected because I really did make it as sort of like a receptacle for stuff. I've got this like Google Doc of just like funny bits where I like think of something like, oh, this would be a funny line of dialogue, and then I just like put it in the Google Doc. And I tried doing a Twitter for a while and that didn't feel right, but TikTok actually feels like a good format for the kind of humor that bubbles up in my brain. People like the weird shit I'm doing.
That's cool that there's a place for it.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to see people enjoying what I'm making, especially because there's like those features where people can like record themselves having a reaction to it. So getting to see people like just wanting to participate with the stuff I'm doing is exciting.
I saw somebody use the song of yours you posted about in one of their TikToks.
Oh, the pumpkin carving one. Yeah. So, like, just put it as like a sound, like this James and the Giant Peach thing that my friend at / director and I made just based on a dumb conversation at our office that like someone then put to their pumpkin carving video. I was like, this is exactly what I want. Halloween content.
So let's go into a shameless plug. You're in one of our videos, The Corpse Photographer, and
yes,
you play a wonderful, wonderful model named JJ. Just give us a little kind of what brought you into this. What did you think about the experience? Just anything that comes to mind about being a part of that.
It was extremely unprofessional. Everyone involved was incredibly rude.
Whoa.
Don't talk about Tim
I got
it.
Yeah. He's a good guy. You just got to get to know him.
He murdered me, okay? No, I got involved in that because Yannick and I went to high school together and then ended up both doing film in Los Angeles. Became like actual friends because we weren't really in like we knew of each other.
Yeah, adjacent friend groups.
Yes, exactly. Kept talking like pre-pandemic, like, oh, we gotta work on something together. Like we gotta do something, and then yeah.
You, me, and our other mutual from high school, Sam, we all got together and we're gonna like almost do something, right? Or like we were gonna like brainstorm or just like improv something, and it never happened. And then like months passed. One
of so many Los Angeles failed meetups.
Yeah.
But we're like, oh, we're gonna do this, and then we don't. But I'm glad we finally got to work on this. And I forgot Sam was involved
He was.
at the very beginning, right before he
was one of the
ran out.
Yeah. I loved having you, and you're hilarious. You're more funnier than I thought you were. Not that I didn't think you were going to be funny, but you absolutely killed it.
You're funnier than I thought you were.
Oh,
If
wow.
we're being honest here.
Being honest.
Yeah. No, it was cool to see you on camera.
I am torn about it, but it was a lot of fun.
No, you were very funny. I love the hiss at the end.
Oh yeah, we added a little hiss. Yeah, that was a weird one. Channel 101 did not like it.
Did they not?
Yeah, it was just like it was silence for like the first 2 minutes, and then we had verbal like, "Oh my gosh," or "Oh, that's disgusting." And keep in mind, this was right after a video that someone was suction cupping poop out of someone's butt, and everyone was hysterical. Everyone was laughing. Something about death.
Clearly, we were too highbrow.
Yeah, too much
for that audience. They just want, sucking poop. They can't appreciate
the essence.
rubbing lotion on a intimidating man's feet.
Based on his barber, by the way. That was Tim's inspiration. That was a fun factoid.
Oh my god. I hope he never shows this to his barber.
I don't know. He might like it.
You might like it. I mean, he seems like the kind of guy who might.
If he embraces like how scary and off-putting he is.
We really appreciate you being a part of that video. You added a lot of humor into it. You added a lot of identity. Yannick and I didn't really know where it was going at first, but I think once we had you and Tim kind of just like put yourselves out there, it really kind of came together with your abilities.
Well, it's so much fun. Like, it's such a weird, creepy idea that, like, of course, I wanted to be a part of it.
I love your fascination for weird, strange theater things. Let's make some plans that might end up working out. Not that.
Yeah, let's make some more weird, creepy shit.
Yeah.
Totally.
And I do want to see a solo show. I got one on the calendar at some point. I will go. We should all go.
Late September or October.
Okay.
Might be the work in progress show. We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll
keep you
keep
posted.
posted on that. That sounds pretty cool. Griffin, do you have any kind of final thoughts of like something you need the listener to know about you, about life?
God save the Queen.
God save the Queen.
Who's dead now?
Timeless.
Who's dead now. Yeah. God save her soul, I guess.
Thank you so much for being on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This is my first podcast.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, more to come. Yeah.
I'm kind of envisioning this to be like people that are going to be famous and they're going to write about these stories in their autobiographies, but we've like captured it before they're famous and before they're writing about it. So
we have to buy the rights back from you.
pretty much. Yeah, I mean that's not we'll cut that out. Yeah.
Well, they're famous
Yes.
because of the podcast. Yeah, we rise them up. No, I see this as being
ready
like,
to be catapulted.
oh yeah, I see it as like in 5 years' time, people are actually gonna be listening to these, of being like, oh, I know her. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, she had a podcast 5 years ago. I want to listen to that.
Right.
Like, and then
we're gonna have a 5-year
5-year
delay for our fame based off of the guests making it.
just leeching on.
Yeah. Just give it time. It's cooking.
Well, I can't wait to
Yeah.
leech on your fame, Griffin.
Yeah.
And
I can't wait to springboard off of yours.
yay! It was nice talking to you. Have a good night.
You too.
Cool.
Thanks for having me.
Super funny person. Can't wait to see her one act as well as
Whatever strange thing she comes up with.
yeah.
Check out her TikTok as well. Very cool.
Yeah, we'll put that in
show
the
notes.
link. Put some links in there of some Griffin Kelly. We need more Griffin in our life.
Yeah.
Exciting times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Alrighty.
That
I
it?
think we're done. I do have so keep it going because I do have we're in the end we're in the end.
Chatter.
Yeah, just chatter.
Okay.
Like I think in the last one you were talking about your feet. Or, like,
Oh, again, my feet
Yeah.
Well, I have this like gross I don't know, where like my feet are really itchy, you know. I think it's hereditary. It's like a mushroom that grows inside of you. And I'm trying to keep that at bay, so don't worry. It's over here. It's over here.
You have mushrooms inside of you?
I have mushrooms inside of my feet.
Like fungus?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Are you gonna make it?
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Okay.
Am
I okay?
You're okay.
I'm okay.
But so I've just been wearing sandals for a really long time, because it gets only bad in like a sweaty foot and a sweaty shoe. But it's really sweaty in here.
What do you think about sweaty things? Like
sweaty things?
I'm
a very low sweat person. So
I have sweaty hands.
I do get really clammy hands. I had somebody actually that I was kind of dating, and it was going all right, and she actually, once she realized how clammy my hands got, it was just a red flag out. Done.
Really?
She ended it.
So I was wondering about that because I'm always like, out of anything I'm self-conscious about in my body, it's my sweaty hands.
Yeah, you too.
Anytime I have to clarify it to any partner, any friend, going in for the little the hand holding thing, is like, we have to talk about this first.
Sometimes I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't shake hands, and then I'll just make up, I have pain on my hands, I can't.
I go straight into, look.
You stop them. Hold on.
My hands are very sweaty. Not because I'm doing anything.
Well, but that's normal, because, you know, if you're out and about, they don't know what you've been. You might have been just doing something physically active, you know, but after a while people realize it's like not going away, and that's sometimes when people are like, I can't be friends with you anymore.
I think that's why people leave me. They're like, dude, man, it's fine. Like, don't worry about it.
It's a lie.
But they've yet to touch my hand.
Oh.
And then they touch my hand.
How long do you wait till somebody, like, you're the people that you're...
It's like, you know, it's like third base.
Right. You're kind of hands behind the back.
I swap bases around because I can't have first base. Not a number. Who's on second? But I can't have first base be hand holding. What is first base usually? Is that a kiss?
Yeah, I think it has to be a kiss, and second base is blowjob.
Blowjob. Well, sex is a home run, right?
Oh, it's a home run. I thought it was third base. I don't know much about baseball.
Good.
I thought there was only 3 bases, and that was it.
Yeah. So you.
Right?
No, 3 bases, then home run. There's 4 bases.
Okay.
When you loop around.
Then what is? Oh, so then the first one must be holding hands, kissing, and then touching, kind of stuff.
Oral, and then sex.
So you're saying sometimes
reply
you
in the
oral,
comments. What's your basis?
I guess it's subjective, yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite base?
What's your favorite base?
Comment below. What's your favorite base? Comment below. Podcast.
I'm sure there's comments or something. But yeah, sweaty hands, great time.
Yeah.
It's breaks away relationships.
Slips.
It slips. Damn it.
How much of this fade out?
No, honestly, I
slowly fading conversations for 12 minutes. Or should we say that we're with Indieknot Films?
Oh yeah, we didn't do
that. This is all part of it. Right?
This is all part of it. I think
Indieknot, that's our little channel.